I'm mad. I am so mad. I never thought I'd do a video like this. Sorry. Our country fucking broken. I just talked to my grandma who's in a place in Ontario. They get a shower once a week. What? And if she wants a bath, which she can get once a week too, it costs $50 fucking.
Oh my god.
They get no services. What the fucking kind of country do we live in?
Are you watching what's going on in Canada and stuck in the conundrum that either the politicians are just not smart, or there's actually a deliberate intent to destroy our economy? It's hard to reconcile these things because I love Canada. I love this country. I love the people. I think it's beautiful. I think it was once a place of a lot of pride and openness and ethics. And now I look at it and I'm going like, well, look, I'm not even an expert negotiator, and I'm watching how we've negotiated tariffs, and it's awful. Things are way worse than they were before the Liberals got back in again.
Woohoo!
And so it's time to speak up en masse. Like, all Canadians, get your phones, get your voice, because in the name of climate, we are going to continue to destroy our economy. And Canada's not doing bad because we have an absence of resources or an absence of opportunity. It's doing bad because the people in charge of policy are making bad decisions and actually choosing to not use the resources we have to create the abundance, to create a really happy and well-fed population. Instead, they're saying, nope, we're going to get more hungry. We're going to raise taxes because of bad policies. Inflation's going to go up. And it just makes your mind break because it doesn't make sense.
Is Canada overrated? Yes and no. I lived in Canada for 32 years. Canada has blessed me with everything I have. Therefore, I want to give you an unbiased perspective on Canada's position. However, over the years, it has changed. Canada is the second largest country in the world behind Russia. Canada is highly underpopulated. Canada just hit 40 million people. Therefore, Canada has a huge way to go. And the leadership we have under the Liberal government has actually brought Canada down to a lower state.
Canadian people, I feel sorry for you.
So join me as I discuss in this vlog, is Canada overrated?
Now on to the present bill. I am concerned, as I say, by the following sections. 15.1 and 15.2 give the minister the unprecedented, incredible power to kick any private Canadian citizen off the internet, to cut off their phone line, to turn off their cell phone. That is the plain language summary, but I will quote now the bill in its legalese.
Oh my god.
Canada has Great Lakes. Canada has snow-capped mountains. Canada has lots of minerals like diamonds and gold and uranium and lots of oil. Although Canadians don't get much of the oil revenue like Saudi Arabia. Canada is a safe country. Canada used to be the Switzerland of North America, meaning that they never get involved in certain wars. They always stay a neutral ground. But under the leadership of Justin Trudeau, we see Canada start to send weapons, start to send arms, start to send money to fuel war instead of being a mediator.
In parallel, we're investing today $2 billion in new military assistance for Ukraine. $800 million of this will help strengthen Ukraine's arsenal for the most urgently needed defense equipment, drones, ammunition, armored vehicles.
Canada has always been a clean and friendly and well-mannered country. And it only took one leader, a moralless, a valueless leader who pushed cancel culture and wokeism. And since he did that, Canada has went down the tubes.
That ain't no woman. It's a man.
If there is reasonable grounds to believe that it is necessary to do so to secure the Canadian telecommunication system against any threat, the minister may prohibit a telecommunication service provider from providing any service to the specified person. Now, perhaps this might make sense to do in an extreme circumstance if a person is trying to cause our satellites to crash or to jam military radar. But this section does not use language about extreme threats of physical damage or threats to national security. It says any threat. And as far as I can tell, given the Liberals' incautious and bombastic use of terms like misinformation, that being any information they don't like, or existential threat, for instance, the member from Milton called the leader of my party an existential threat to our democracy, which is, of course, bananas.
If you should listen to any one of Justin Trudeau's speech, he would never say, "My hearts and my prayers are with the victims." He would always say,
"My heart goes out to the family of the Canadian who was killed, to the families of everyone."
That is why I fell in love with Canada 32 years ago when I came to Canada from the United States, although me a Jamaican. I fell in love with it. How clean and organized and how principled the people were. But today, it's a different country, and it only took one leader, a moralless, a valueless leader. Therefore, it tells me that this man has no spiritual foundation. He has no moral compass. The word of God does not steer his decisions. Therefore, if you want to know where a country is or where it is going, always look at the leader and pay attention to his or her value systems.
How many genders are there?
In terms of sex, there are two. Thank you.
My follow-up question then, do you believe that women, biological women, have the right to their own spaces, their own sports, their own change rooms, their own prisons, their own homeless shelters?
I think this is Canada, and that as a general objective, yes. But we work in where we value all Canadians.
So given their incautious and bombastic use of these phrases, it seems to me that the industry minister could deem any speech she doesn't like any threat, and then kick that person off the internet. This section reaches Chinese Communist Party levels of government overreach, and they should be ashamed of themselves. The bill gets worse, it does not get better, Mr. Speaker. 15.2 Clause 5 gives the minister the ability to make her decision to kick someone off the internet. Secret. So imagine that. You've annoyed the Liberal Party overlords, and they've decided to kick you off the internet and cut your phone line. You can't tell anyone that you've been cut off. I have no idea how this could even possibly be enforced. But imagine being put effectively in a digital gulag, unable to use the phone or the internet or your online banking, and if you tell anyone that this happened, you could go to physical jail.
No! That is why, for the past 10 years under Justin Trudeau's leadership, Canada has went down the tubes. If you should look at some of my old videos when I was trying to vlog, videos like this, I was one of those who encouraged many new immigrants, particularly students, to migrate to Canada because Canada has many opportunities. But if you should observe recently, I don't propagate that narrative anymore because cost of living, the way of life, the standards, some level of crime has gone through the roof.
I do not doubt that the Liberals will stand and say that I'm being somehow outlandish in my interpretation of this. I am not. It is there in black and white. Let me quote it for them. It seems like they haven't read it. 15.2 Clause 5. An order made under subsection 1 or 2 may include a provision prohibiting the disclosure of its existence or some or all of its content by any person. And if you aren't inclined to believe me, please just Google it. Bill C-8, Canadian Constitution Foundation. There you will find October 1st, 2025 publication where their expert lawyers corroborate my concerns.
Canada now has lots of homeless people, people in shelters. When you go to major intersections, you see panhandlers. Back in the days, we've never seen those things. When you listen to the news nowadays, you have juvenile gangs going smashing jewelry stores, stealing jewelry. You have people carjacking. And hey, the police will say that if they come to your house to steal your car, you should leave your keys at the doors. Can you imagine this madness? This is what Canada has become. It is not as clean as it was before. And when you're in Canada nowadays, you feel isolated. You feel lonely. You don't feel like the care is there anymore. So therefore, you become depressed.
Oh my God.
Mr. Speaker, I am sorry to say the bill continues to get worse. It does not get better. Section 15.4 says the minister may require any person to provide within any time any information that would help her make a decision under 15.1 or 15.2. So it seems to me that if this legislation passes in its current unamended form, the Minister of Industry could wake up one morning, decide that you or any other private citizen, maybe, possibly, she's not quite sure, could be some sort of threat to our telecommunication system, with no warrant, no trial, no automatic judicial review, she could compel Rogers or Telus to give her that citizen's address book or their internet search history or their browser history. This is unreasonable and it is shocking. This is the Liberal Party under their new Prime Minister. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss.
What would you like your government's legacy on LGBT issues to be?
To get it to a point when we have an LGBT prime minister and nobody notices. I think just understanding that this is a trend line we're on, that we still have more work to do. But
mind you, 6 months of the year it is cold, and because it's cold, the people are also cold. Or you feel lonely, and that loneliness can cause depression. Or furthermore, it is a multicultural society where different ethnicities have their own communities, which in essence it's divide and rule. Because when the corporation raise the price of goods and services, because they're divided, they don't organize, they just take it. And when the government hit them with taxes, they just take it because they're multicultural, so they don't work together. So although the metropolis look like a melting pot, they are divided as hell. And that is why the government can tax us so much and the corporation can raise the price of goods and services and Canadians go, no! Except for hockey and cable. They make some noise. But beyond that, Canadians are very, very conservative and passive.
These are Muslim values. These are Canadian values.
In the unlikely event that you find yourself the victim of a home invasion, we are urging citizens not to take matters into their own hands. While we don't want homeowners to feel powerless, we urge you to call 911 and do everything you can to keep yourself and loved ones safe until police.
Now, to add to that, Canada is one of the most highly taxed countries in the world. House prices have gone through the roof, although it's the second largest land mass. Goods and services has gone up. Price of everything has gone up. So therefore, the opportunities that were there in the, say, 1990s, 80s, and 2000 are completely gone. Now, you have more people coming in and competing for the resources. And because of that, for you to buy a house in Canada nowadays, you have to be making north of $200,000. So God help the new immigrant who migrate and don't have a skill or don't have economic wherewithal. You get the gist?
The minister casually said, and I quote, $500 billion in the last 5 years alone of Canadian investment has left to the U.S. And he said probably $1 trillion in the next 5 years if we get the agreement that we expect to get.
$500 billion in the last 5 years alone, probably $8 trillion in the next 5 years if we get the agreement that we expect to get.
As I've said before, it's a multicultural society. When you come to Canada, almost every race and ethnicity around the world are here. However, for me as a black male, it's a little bit difficult. And I'm saying that from a psychological point of view. Because every time you hear the crime, they don't even say the race anymore. They say the neighborhood, and you just kind of connect it in your psyche. Or the media will say black car and dark clothing. The Canadian society has been actually psychologically programmed to believe that when there's a crime, there's a perpetrator who looks like me. So therefore, when I sit on the bus or go in the public space, people will not sit beside me or people look like me. They will avoid you. Why? Because the media has manufactured what you call an implicit bias. So when they see people look like me, instantly the subconscious mind, they think a criminal or someone who might be a potential criminal.
Oh my God.
And to add to that, when you look at these little juveniles, thugs running around the city, most of them look like me. So then again, I can't blame the society to believe that people who look like me have a higher probability of committing a crime. So therefore, for me as a black male, it's hard. This is why for me, at my age, I cannot spend the rest of my life in Canada, because for my mental health, I need peace of mind, tranquility, and be in an environment where people respect me. However, Canada has blessed me. I've educated myself in Canada. It has provided me with a very good job. It has provided me much financial wherewithal so I can live a decent life. So I am forever grateful. When I came to Canada 32 years ago from the United States, yes, me a Jamaican, but I used to live in the US before, and I came to Canada. It was the greatest move I've ever made in my life, and I thank God for that. When I look now of what's going on over there, and when I used to live over there, I never had the opportunities because I never had the guide and the mentorship. And the neighborhood I was living in, there was no hope for me. I thank God the day I left the United States and moved to Canada. And since I've moved into Canada, never had a criminal record and have no scratch on my record. I've been a good and law-abiding citizen. So Canada has been a great place to me. And I will say to any one of you who are coming or being in Canada, all Canada needs is for you to burn that midnight oil and study. Follow the laws and be ambitious, and I guarantee you, you will accomplish great success. Therefore, I will not knock Canada. It has been very good to me. Yes, it has changed. There's no doubt about that. It has changed for the worse.
I thought I moved to Canada. Bro, you're in Canada. This is the part they don't show in brochures.
But all Canada needs right now is the right leader. All it needs is for the right leader to turn this country back around from what Justin Trudeau has done to it. He has torn this country apart. And when he was leaving, he was crying crocodile tears, bawling. In the meantime, he was setting up a switcheroo. He could have called an election and the Conservatives with Pierre Poilievre would have won a landslide. But what he did, very deceptive leader, he stayed on until his own Liberal caucus pulled out a switcheroo. What Justin Trudeau did, he did not call an election so he would get voted out and the Conservative would win a landslide. He sat there, waited for his own Liberal caucus to pick the governor, Mark Carney, as a switcheroo. That's what he did. And then his Liberal caucus voted for Mark Carney now as the leader, which is the Prime Minister of Canada today. And many Canadians forget what the Liberals have done to this country, where crime holding the economies in the tanks, and many Canadians forgot and are running behind the switcheroo where Trudeau has just hoodwinked them.
I applied to like 150 jobs, and I didn't get anything.
Chasing down jobs.
It's honestly almost impossible to get a job anywhere now.
Antonio Da Silva has been searching for months, now knowing all the summer roles might already be filled up.
The businesses as well, not opening up enough or creating enough job opportunities for the new generation incoming.
According to the latest jobs report, unemployment for students who want to work summer jobs has climbed this year to more than 17%, not including the first year of the pandemic. That's a number not seen since 2009 when Canada was in a recession.
This has been a brutal summer for students to look for a job. The openings are just not there.
The trade war with the U.S. getting the blame for the downturn, with many companies hit hard by U.S. tariffs on Canadian imports.
In the last few months, companies have had no idea where the economy is going. The last thing they're going to want to do is take on a few extra heads for the summer.
Is Canada overrated? Yes, now it is overrated because the opportunities are not there like before. But if Canada doesn't get the right leader now and trying to steer the ship into a different dock, I guarantee you, many Canadians will be out of here, because the Canada I see today is not the Canada I know.
Jamil Javani here, Member of Parliament for Bowmanville, Oshawa North. I'm here in the House of Commons, and we are wrapping up week 1 of the fall parliamentary session, and I want to tell you guys what's going on, because the Liberals have picked up where they left off. They are continuing to play this bait and switch game where they tell the people of Canada one thing, but then do something different. Let me give you 3 concrete examples. They've been telling Canadians that they want to lower the immigration levels in Canada because they're way too high. But on day 1 of this session, on Monday of this week, Liberals once again bring back Bill C-3, which seeks to create a new system of unlimited chain migration into Canada, and the Liberals will not even say how many new people they intend to bring into the country through this legislation. Yes. Example number 2. Liberals say they're making investments on behalf of Canada. They keep using this word investment, which maybe a lot of people don't know what that means when a government talks about investments. But what we know is that that is a new code word for running massive deficits and big government spending. So they say it's an investment, but in reality, in the lead up to their new budget on November 4th, they've already admitted when they say investment, what they really mean is they're spending your money and going into further debt, which will continue to drive up inflation and the cost of living. And also your taxes, by the way. Finally, another example. They say they want to get tougher on crime because crime has gotten out of control in many parts of Canada. And yet, when we present an idea, when conservatives put forward a motion to get tougher on sentencing so that violent repeat offenders no longer walk around victimizing more people, they don't support it. Liberals continue to oppose things that we want to do to fix the justice system so it can keep our communities safe. And those are 3 examples of the Liberal bait and switch. Conservatives will continue to be here to push for accountability, to tell you the truth, and to fight for a better future for our country.
And that's a fact. On that note, Jamken is out. And is Canada overrated? Yes and no. And that's what I is talking about. People, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Just wanting to get your thoughts on Mark Carney and your relationship with him while you were Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, and any advice you have to Canadians who think he might make a good Prime Minister.
Well, Mark Carney was governor of the Bank of England, and under his tenure, too much money was printed, which did damage to the British economy and put our economy off track. He, at the last election, endorsed Rachel Reeves' economic policy. She's now become Chancellor. It's been a disaster for Britain. The country is heading for bankruptcy. So I would strongly recommend not backing Mark Carney or his policies on net zero, which have been disastrous for Britain and would be disastrous for Canada.
Do you trust his judgment overall, outside of ideological considerations?
Well, I believe that he made major mistakes in the management of the Bank of England. He has pushed net zero, which has been a disaster, not just for the UK, but for many countries across the world.